the seed of suffering in you may be strong, but don't wait until you have no more suffering before allowing yourself to be happy. Most people think happiness is about gaining something, but it's not. It's all about getting rid of the darkness you accumulate. You can't change the wind, but you can set your sails. Reputation is what other people know about you. Honor is what you know about yourself. Once you reject fear, you will become the perfect candidate to receive and reflect truth. Personal perception of perfection is like that. You see what you want to see. After a while, you just see what you need to. If you place your head in a lion's mouth, then you cannot complain one day if he happens to bite it off. If what you seek is truth, there is one thing you must have above all else. People aren't born good or bad. Maybe they're born with tendencies either way, but it's the way you live your life that matters. Never force yourself on people. Never complain after missing an invitation. Never whine when they take you for granted. I saw the world from the stars' point of view, and it looked unbearably lonely. Time deals gently only with those who take it gently. You don't need to understand what the world is. Just let your life flow with it and become something. As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live. When you choose one way out of many, all the ways you don't take are snuffed out like candles, as if they'd never existed. 90% of everything you believe you can achieve in life you will. When you use your energy and resources to punish people, you run out of energy and resources to protect people. As long as you gave everything you had and you didn't let it break you, it could never be considered a failure. Head versus heart. A crowded mind leaves no space for a peaceful heart. Vulnerability is the least celebrated emotion in our society. Every time you help someone to achieve success, you become more successful. Always help to lift the burdens of others. Of life's two chief prizes, beauty and truth, I found the first in a loving heart and the second in a laborer's hand. All resistance is a rupture with what is, and every rupture begins, for those engaged in it, through a rupture with oneself. The only faithfulness people have is to emotions they're trying to recapture. Something deep inside calls us to adventure and to brave the unknown. There is a bit of wilderness within all of us. We should forgive our enemies, but not before they are hanged. A gentleman is someone who does not what he wants to do, but what he should do. Doing what I like to do, the way I like to do it, makes me happy. Sometimes it takes many attempts to succeed, but it takes a second to lose them all. Always plan well. They blossomed. They did not talk about blossoming. It is unwise to be too sure of one's own wisdom. It is healthy to be reminded that the strongest might weaken and the wisest might err. When something ought to be true, then it proves to be a very powerful truth. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Remember tonight, for it is the beginning of always. Always be open to inspiration. You never know where it may come from. Begin with an open mind, end with an inspired heart. You start by writing to live. You end by writing so as not to die. There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. You have to lift a person up before you can really put them in their place. The only impossible journey is the one you never begin. If humor and rumor are needed more than faith and truth, then it tells me something about the kind of world we live today. And we don't always know it or understand it at the time and the season, but nothing grows without a good amount of dirt. Doing the best at this moment puts you in the best place for the next moment. I scream for everything that has gone wrong. I scream for everything broken in our lives. Prediction is very difficult, especially about the future. I have no idea of eternity, but I think kindness keeps the spirit young. I am thus asking you to be kind and feel it for yourself. Run when you can. Walk if you have to, crawl if you must, just never give up. Society will always be too fragile to accept us for all that makes us beautiful. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. The greatest stories aren't always written. They're plucked from the everyday lives of ordinary people. There are some things that it is better to begin than to refuse, even though the end may be dark. Grace doesn't depend on suffering to exist, but where there is suffering you will find grace in many facets and colors. Sometimes you have to take 2 steps back to take 10 forward. This is a wonderful day. I have never seen this one before. It is better to be divided by truth than united in error. Life is very short, and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friends. You can always look up to others for inspiration, but never for comparison. In order to make a precise decision, keep a steady spiritual connection. The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. If you want to be successful, you must respect one rule: never to lie to yourself. Beware becoming the inadvertent passenger hurtling eagerly along a road to nowhere. Drive. Others have seen what is and asked why. I have seen what could be and asked why not. People only lie because they are afraid of the truth. Life consists of what man is thinking about all day. Those who bring sunshine into the lives of others have discovered the secret to genuine happiness and fulfillment. I always make sure that the world will prove me right. It gives me the freedom to contradict myself. If tomorrow were never to come, it would not be worth living today. The single most powerful element of youth is that you don't have the life experiences to know what can't be done. I was a veritable Johnny Appleseed of grand expectations, and all I reaped for my trouble was a harvest of bitter fruit. Man is but a reed, the most feeble thing in nature, but he is a thinking reed. Strong souls face painful tragedies because the universe honors their strength by pulling out its most fearsome weapons against them. You don't have the right to complain about your life if you're not willing to change it. Focus on where you're going and how deserved it is after fighting for as long as you did. Being kind is the greatest thing that costs nothing, but it is everything to the person who receives it. I read somewhere how important it is in life not necessarily to be strong, but to feel strong, to measure yourself at least once. The consequences of every act are included in the act itself. Our society is run by insane people for insane objectives. The ideals which have always shone before me and filled me with joy are goodness, beauty, and truth. Excellence/perfection is not a destination. It is a continuous journey that never ends. Even if there is a small lie in the truth you're telling, it will make the truth questionable. If you live each day as it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right. Stand behind the stories that are real, not just real. The moon and the stars shine, even when the clouds hide the sunbeams. It is a very funny thing that the sleepier you are, the longer you take about getting to bed. There is no problem more difficult to solve than that created by ourselves. Only knowledge can turn life's unbearableness into a weapon. There's no point having wishes if you don't at least try to do them. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Be humble, for you are made of earth. Be noble, for you are made of stars. You'll never reach perfection because there's always room for improvement. Yet get along the way to perfection, you'll learn to get better. Sometimes being happy takes effort. Invest time and energy in yourself and your happiness. When ill luck begins, it does not come in sprinkles, but in showers. Create a vision for the life you really want, and then work relentlessly towards making it a reality. Try not to become a man of success, but rather become a man of value. What can oppose the decline of the West is not a resurrected culture, but the utopia that is silently contained in the image of its decline. Once war becomes a clash of absolutes, there is no breathing room for mercy. Absolute truth is blind truth. When I was growing up, I always wanted to be someone. Now I realize I should have been more specific. Wanneer Arana meets T. Verwachten is, hier je naar binnen. All you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know. The people we consider successful in our society are all people that seize every moment and make the best of each situation. Success is most often achieved by those who don't know that failure is inevitable.